Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
We are back. Another episode of Oh No Girl Yes, the podcast. Thank y'all for checking us out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you join Patreon. Get all the behind the scenes. I think that's all.
We had fun with the Patreons last week.
Oh man, we had a live happy hour with our Patreon subscribers last week. So if you're not a Patreon member, you missed it. And that's what some of the fun stuff you get. And also Patreon gets an extra episode every week. So get on it. All right. So this week we're going to do a real-time exercise with each other for each other. So short story long, we're single. I don't know if you listen to the podcast, if you realize that.
That's actually long story short.
That's the long story short. So the short story long is we've done episodes before about we know why we're single or, and if you've listened to our podcast for any amount of time, you probably know why we're single, probably some things we've never mentioned. You're like, oh, I know her. She ain't got no man.
You ain't got to tell me.
We actually do know. And so we're going to talk about that today because recently we have found ourselves in situations, still being single, still dating, where we realize sometimes some of our behaviors are not conducive to us not being single, right? And so we want to make a conscious list of things we can do differently. So years ago, I developed this idea called the opposite of insanity. So Albert Einstein, it's attributed to Albert Einstein that he says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, anytime we do the same thing over and over again, we're not doing it to be insane. It's just what we know to do. A lot of times it's just muscle memory. It's just we don't know anything else and we didn't notice we kept doing the same thing. You'll really notice this in your closet when you never have anything to wear because you keep buying the same stuff. You're like, I don't like none of my clothes. And so it's like, it's what you bought. So in our situation, we don't think we have the one that got away. Sometimes people can say, yeah, if I can go back and revisit that relationship or date that guy again or do that differently. I don't have a person that I would say that about. Do you? Not necessarily. Everybody can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. People are listening. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just over here shaking my head. I'm sorry. Most of y'all listen to us and don't watch us. So
right. Well, you can look back and say that there's some things you could have done differently.
There are definitely some things I could have done, especially in one relationship I'm thinking about specifically. But even in that, I don't think he was the one that got away.
Right. Yeah. And same thing for me. I can look back and say, okay, I probably could have done that differently or handled that differently. For the one that I do feel like got away, I don't think he got away by any virtue of mine. He's the one I would revisit. But, it's not like he got away. It was just timing on his part in his life. But I can still look back at situations with him that I probably didn't fully enjoy the present or be in the present. And I was always kind of attached to what was next. So what did this mean? And what was going to happen versus what was really happening. So I would go back and redo some of that. But neither one of us feel like we have the one that got away based on something we did. But we do recognize that we potentially could be at fault of the one getting away if we don't start kind of checking ourselves a little bit about how we think and feel. And unfortunately, because we are single and because we do a podcast like this and because we always are talking about topics like this weekly, whether we record them or not, we've gotten a little jaded.
Yeah.
No, would you say so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not become the entire person that I said I never wanted to be when I was younger. You look at older single women and like, I don't want to
be like that.
And I don't think I am, but I do have some characteristics.
And you see how you can get there. You do see how
easily.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you say you didn't want to be like that, we're talking about women who have just given up, just don't care. And
I haven't given up. I don't think, I go through my phases of not wanting to try and just like wanting to be by myself. It doesn't last long though. So
it doesn't. It doesn't.
The feeling doesn't last long.
And that's good. You're young, you're vibrant, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're fertile. You should go for it now.
She said fertile.
Let's not throw that in. So what we were talking about offline, and we decided to record the rest of this conversation, is things that we want to consciously do differently in our next relationship or our next dating situation when we have deemed that person deserves a different version of ourselves. Now, every man don't deserve your best, so your all.
Right.
Every circumstance and situation don't deserve that, right? And it's not even talking about matching energies. But sometimes you can be in a situation with a man and he's really doing a lot to take care of your feelings and respect your feelings and make efforts to spend time with you and communicate with you and be honest with you. And then at some point you have to say, okay, now what am I doing differently? Because I'm not used to this. So I can't just be operating in the same space I've always operated in.
Right.
And so I think we both are in similar situations. We're dating. And so we want to figure out how we can show up differently in situations that deem us needing to show up differently.
Right.
Okay. So
that wasn't the short story long.
Right. There you go. So one of the things that we have and some of our things are individual, some of them are things we both struggle with. But one of the things I think we both struggle with is we don't want to be considered a pick me. What does that mean? When we say, I don't want to be a pick me, what does that mean when you think about a pick me? For our listeners who aren't familiar with that terminology, or what you think about it, what it is.
I don't want to be, in my head is a visual of women standing in line and men coming by and they're doing their best to get their attention. You know what I mean? Like, pick me, coach, put me in, coach. I'm worthy. I would never stand in that type of line. I would never. So that's the visual I have for it. But there are women out here who are, it's hard to say because you want people to go after what they want, right?
Right.
But I don't want to feel like I'm in a competition to get a man's attention. Right. I feel like who I am is worthy enough. If he wants to give me his attention, then I don't have to compete with anybody else to get it.
Right. And how's that working for you? Agree with that synopsis of what that means. So somewhere that terminology found its way into my spirit and it stuck. And so, yeah, no woman wants to feel, well, I don't want to say no woman, because some women like to compete for a man's attention. Some women thrive off of, and I got him and he mine now, or letting a woman know he over here. We ain't like that. We like, look, he wherever he want to be. If it ain't with me, God bless, take care.
If I ever felt like I was in a pick me situation, I would always tell him to pick her, please.
Please don't pick me. Right. If you are concerned or confused, let's take me out the running. And we are very much like that. And what we realize is we're not getting picked. So I think we need to rephrase this concept because we have such a horrible opinion of the idea. Ultimately, you are only in competition with yourself. Be a better version than you were yesterday. And that is not to get the attention of a man. It's just to be happy with yourself.
Right.
However, because men have such a greater inventory than we have,
right,
dating, you feel that way. And that's the other problem. So when you're dating someone, women tend to have a harder time dating multiple people at a time just because the inventory is not there. So by the time we meet one person that we're interested in that we want to date, we tend to latch on to that person, whereas they might still be dating multiple women. We then get upset that he's dating other women because you met me. And so then we will take ourselves out of that pool because no, thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot more that goes with that because is basically what she said though, because what I was going to say is a lot more that goes with that because we don't date multiple people. We just don't date. We don't have a lot of experience dating. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and Eunice.
Right.
We don't have a lot of experience dating, just in general, even though we're good and grown, we've had lots of stuff that didn't work out. Just the art of dating.
Right. The art of dating.
Always approached it as I met this guy. He's who I date.
This is who I'm dating. I met this guy.
So when he chooses to date other people because we're not exclusive, then that's when we get our feelings hurt.
And then we don't want to date them no more.
So our thought about dating is wrong.
Yes. So is that the first thing on our list? Change our thought about dating.
Change our views of how dating works. Because
we understand.
If you think about it, and we had this conversation with our Patreons, and one who's in a relationship, she was able to kind of, well, both of them actually, because the other one's single, but I think she knows, a little bit more about our history just because we talk about it all the time. They both, when we were telling them about, personal experiences with guys and stuff, I'm like, but yeah, that's not who he is to you right now. So you shouldn't be concerned about what this is going on and that is going on and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but we are concerned about that.
Logically analytically, yes, we are very rational people. We understand when we are dating someone, they are not our boyfriend. We have not had a conversation of exclusivity, and everybody's single until we decide we ain't gonna be single. Logically, on paper.
Sounds good on paper.
Sounds wonderful. By the time you feel like you don't have the majority of his attention or enough of his attention that keeps you calm, or just when you feel like it. And I think there's a way for men to date multiple women without making you feel like it was your turn. So that's on the guy. That's on the guy. Handle your business, okay? Right. But there still is an unrealistic expectation on our part for their time and their attention being pretty much 24/7.
Absolutely. Right.
In a dating situation, when we are not their women, we do expect to be somewhere connected to you 24/7.
Right. Some kind of way.
And what's the problem?
So yeah, that's an issue. And the reason we do that is, like I said, the inventory is not there for us to be dating multiple people. We don't really have the desire to.
Right.
So, I mean, I think even if the inventory isn't available at the time, we should still be open as we're dating people. We should still be open to welcoming new people into our lives. Like the idea should always be that. We say that, but it doesn't happen,
right? And so what happens is we say, yeah, I'm single, so I'm dating this guy and I like him. But if I met another great guy, I would give him my number. I would go out with him. But it's just that other great guy never shows up. And so,
or he shows up, but we're still stuck on this one guy and we can't see.
Or he shows up and he ain't that great.
That too. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Because I think a difference between men and women, and please comment on this point, men and women, because this is just my opinion. I feel like men have an easier time dating women they don't necessarily like than women have dating men they don't like. Because a man can still be around a beautiful woman who's carrying on a conversation. He likes being with her or likes being seen with her or enjoys whatever she brings to the table. Women, I think we have a harder time being around somebody who we just don't like just for the sake of being around. It's like, I can buy my own dinner. I can take myself to I don't got to do this.
That may be your opinion. It's my opinion as well. So it may not be, if women feel differently, please let us know. But it is very hard for me because I want to be attracted to the person. And it's not always a physical thing.
Right.
Anybody. I have to have an attraction to anybody I spend my time with and exert any energy on. I have to be attracted to that person.
And so also, I think men can be around a woman that they know likes them more than they like them. And women tend,
and they're comfortable with it. And I'm not comfortable with that either. If you show too much, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, because I don't want to encourage it. And even though you could be cool to hang out with, I have a situation like that right now. I dated this guy 20 years ago. He's a nice guy. He has expressed interest in reconnecting. I'm not interested. Now, I wouldn't mind hanging out with him, but I don't want to do anything to encourage what he has already expressed.
Okay, so I
don't hang out with him.
Does that bring us to point number 2? We care too much?
Do we care too much?
Because we feel like people, if men were doing that to us and like, why would you hang out with me if you don't like me? Because I like to hang out with you. I know it's not going anywhere, but I like to hang out with you.
And we'll do that. And we won't do that to a man.
We won't do it because we don't want to hurt their feelings in the end.
Right. A man will spend all his time with a woman and give her the impression that he's enjoying her or sees a future. And so by the time it falls apart and the woman is like, well, wait, we did this and said this, whatever. He's like, yeah, you was cool. And she knows I wasn't hanging out with you because you was cool. I was hanging out with you because I liked you. And so we don't hang out with men that we know we don't like as much as they like us, just out of respect of, I don't want to give you the wrong idea. Right. I can tell you I'm not where you are, but you cool. And it's still going to go wrong. Men tend to not have as much of a hesitancy to move forward with, I think they like the attention. I think they like knowing they have access to these women that like them, even though they don't feel that way about them. And so by the time the woman is sending a 15-page text that he don't even read, it's like, well, how did she get here? What did you do to encourage it? And it's like, I didn't do nothing. I was cool. And for us, we didn't do nothing to encourage. I didn't hang out with him. I didn't respond to his text. I didn't ask him how was his day. I didn't respond when he asked because I didn't want to give him no inclination that I wanted to be with him in that way. And he has already expressed an interest in me that I don't have. So yes, we care too much. We have a hard time trying to engage and interact with people we don't really like. We tend to like one person at a time, and then they get all of our energy. And with that energy comes all of our expectations that they have not agreed to participate in. And then when they fall short of the expectations in our mind that we have never discussed because we're not in a relationship, we get mad and we run away.
Yep. Wash, rinse, repeat.
So we want to change that. We want to try something different. We're on these streets, we're dating.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're trying to grow and learn more about ourselves, we are painfully honest with ourselves. And I think recently we've become more honest than we normally have been. I have become more honest about, I feel like I'm in a space where I want a partner. And I've never really been in that space. I've always been very excited to be single. I've always been very independent. I've always enjoyed not talking to nobody about nothing I'm doing. And now I find myself wanting to talk to somebody about what I'm doing. I'm finding myself wanting somebody to talk to me about what they're doing. And that's new for me. But instead of me in my former life, I think I would be like, let me, I'm feeling that way about a person. I want to know about his day, or he wants to know about my day. I'm like, okay, what would happen if I leaned into this and participated in this way? What would that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. You like, I don't even like the way that sounds.
No, it's just, we
afraid? Are we scared? Or what is it?
I think it goes back to trying to protect ourselves, which I don't know if we mentioned, it doesn't matter. I'll say it again. We work so hard to try to protect ourselves from being hurt. Mm-hmm. Whatever method that takes, whatever that looks like, whatever we do, the things that we do that shouldn't be done a lot of times are to protect ourselves from being hurt. The problem is we get hurt anyway. So why not just be all in and be your authentic self instead of putting up this wall that, potentially, blocks us from getting hurt when we end up getting hurt anyway. It's like a little
And it's more blocking our blessings than protecting us anyway.
Right.
So I think that's baseline. We have both agreed to move forward in a way where we're going to have to let these walls down, because we have a fear of getting hurt. So we do all this rough and tough with our Afro puffs to not get hurt. Right. We then do things that ultimately hurt ourselves, but we feel like because it was on our terms and because I said I would never talk to him again. Yeah, my feelings are hurt, but it's because I hurt my feelings. It's because I did it, not because he did it.
Right.
And we have decided we want to try something different. We're going to let somebody hurt our feelings. We have decided we have survived worse. The next time our feelings get hurt, somebody else is going to do it. Right? Now,
but they do it anyway. So it's like, what are we protecting ourselves?
But even in saying that, I think we're going about it wrong, because why do our feelings have to get hurt?
No, what I'm saying is this. What we've done up to this point has not protected our feelings. So why continue to do it?
You got to do something different. It's insanity. We're going to do the opposite of insanity.
Why continue to do something that's not helping the situation at all? In fact, I think it makes it worse because we think we're protecting ourselves. And then when we're hurt, we're like, well, where did that come from? I had my guard up. No, you didn't. You fooled yourself.
Now, let me say this. I am realizing recently, a lot of the things that hurt my feelings are self-imposed.
Mm-hmm. And avoidable.
Yes. This is correct. Recently, in dating someone, the times that I have gotten my feelings hurt, they were self-imposed moments. And I can see that and say the only times that I've kind of felt whatever about dating this particular person is when I said this, or I did that, or I asked that, or I looked for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. We're not gonna jump off the ledge because of fear of being.
That was number one.
That's okay. Stand on the ledge. Stand strong. He might be running to pull you to safety and not push you, but if he pushes you, oh well, you know how to bounce. Mm-hmm. What else are you going to do differently? What's number two? Number two for me is going to be stop creating problems for myself. I have a very active imagination and I have an anxious attachment style. And so I tend to be attracted to avoidant attachment style. So by the time I really like somebody, more than likely they haven't done a whole lot. They've done something to encourage it, but they're not doing a whole lot to maintain it or see it along. But that kind of resonates with my personality of like, I feel like I'm going to win. I'm going to win at this guy and he ain't ready. Oh, and I got him, And now I'm realizing that I probably, in order for me to address my anxious attachment style, dating someone who has a secure attachment style, meaning they ain't trying to manipulate or play games or lie. It just is what it is. I'm here. It's cool. It's all gravy. To lean into that and say, okay, there could be some security clarity here potentially if I don't create problems in my head. So I'm going to stop creating very negative scenarios and worst case scenarios in my head in relation to dating.
Okay.
Sorry for my dogs are barking if you can hear them.
I don't hear.
Okay.
So I think I'm dismissive avoidant.
Yes, you are. Continue with your understanding.
We've been reading up on attachment.
We've been reading up on attachment style because y'all, we really want to work on this and fix it for us.
We want y'all to see us grow. Really.
We want to grow.
So yeah, dismissive avoidant. So I think my number 2 would be to allow people in or allow men in. And whether that's me being more open to them, I think it's a two-way street, allowing them to be more comfortable being more open to me, because I have a closed off personality when it comes to men, especially when they're expressing their like vulnerabilities or being, I hate to use the word sensitive because it has a negative connotation, but that's how I see it. So whatever that is, being open and honest with me and stuff like that. And I often dismiss it. To be honest, I dismiss it and I avoid it.
Why do you dismiss it? Is it because you don't believe them, or you feel
some of it is I don't believe it because I've heard it before. So that's a protection, method. And then some of it is because I don't know if I want to believe it, because I'm trying to protect myself, and I'm like, if I open myself up to this person and I let them open up themselves to me, then I'm going to be even more hurt when this doesn't work out.
Right.
So I'd rather be dismissive about it and avoid it. And then, but
in that you still attached to it not working out versus
right. So,
I think that's the underlying baseline is we're attached to it not working out. And so we're like, choose your poison on how.
Yeah, that's the overarching thing. We are attached to things not working out. So this is how we navigate through relationships and through dating and stuff. So yeah, being more open, being more vulnerable, and allowing the space for the guy to do the same, as opposed to pushing him away or trying to push that whole situation out. So
okay, very good. All right, another thing that I want to try to do is to stay in the present and stop. I think it's 2 ways to go wrong with not being in the present. Either you're forecasting happily ever after, and we're going to be together forever and a day, or you're forecasting this ain't going to work out. I'm sure he's lying. I'm going to be somewhere crying just like all the other women. But if you're in the moment, you ain't got to forecast either one of them. And I tend to swing between the two every 15 minutes. So I go from, wow, this could be great and amazing. This is the person for me, to I should have never gave this person my phone number. What was I thinking? And I swing between those two extremes of forecasting, when if I could really figure out how to stay in the present moment and say, today was a good day. Today was a great day of communication. Today, was a great day of respect and mutual respect and appreciation. Today was a good day, and let that be
right.
So staying in
living in the moment.
Living in the moment is my number 3.
Okay. My number 3 would be to let go of some of my selfishness. Okay. We joke on here all the time about how we have these great lives, which we do. But I think that thought kind of just like engulfs my mind so much to where it's like, I feel like I don't need not even need, but want anybody else to invade that space and, take up more of my time and this and that and the other. And I think that's a selfish thing, because even when I get close to some people, sometimes it's like, do we have to? I don't think I have to be around you. We talked about how our marriages might look different because we might live in different bedrooms and stuff like that, which still might be a thing. I don't know. Not saying it's not, but I think I have to stop thinking, if I want to get in a relationship and I want it to last, I have to stop thinking or approaching life as a single woman.
And creating that space for someone to be able to come in and complement what you're already doing.
Right.
Or take you further.
Instead of thinking they're taking me away from something.
Yeah.
They're introducing a new life to me. So I need to learn how to embrace that, because, it's not just me. I watch a lot of Married at First Sight, and that's one of the things, those singles, I see myself in a lot of them a lot of times, because they struggle with that a lot, integrating their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just going from single to, you know, and the older we get, the harder that is for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I've been, you know, looking for someone to come in and kind of just fit in whatever I'm got going on and however I want to navigate the world. But he may have another idea how he wants to navigate. So we need to find a, you know, a middle ground. And it's not always going to be about what I want.
Okay.
But that borderlines on just being selfish.
Right, but I don't know if it's selfish when you're by yourself. It's selfish.
Not when you're by yourself. I'm saying, but if I ever dated someone, I need to show that I, you know,
right.
I do have this. I'm not just a selfish person who just loves my single life.
Right.
I have dreams of more than just, you know, me. But you know, I know I make it look good and all, but you know.
All right, number 4. I realize that things that upset me sometimes in dating situations, I don't even want to say they're irrational, because whatever upsets you, whether, you know, it should or shouldn't, it does. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I realize my hypocrisy at times of things that make me upset, that if the person said the exact same thing to me, they would not be lying. I would be, I guess, guilty of whatever.
Right.
So I feel like I have a certain level of hypocrisy attached to my expectations of someone else that I don't even meet. So, you know, so I want to, I don't know if it's lower the expectation, but maybe not have certain expectations that they can't have of me. You know, I don't know. I've recently have felt hypocritical in some things that I have wanted or felt, because if they said the exact same thing I said, it would match me as well, but they didn't, because it didn't affect them that way. And I can realize, you know what, if they said this to you, then what you gonna say? Because you did that and you said that and you did that. You were upset with them for those same things. So I want to be less hypocritical. Okay. But you know what? Let me say this about me being less.
Oh, here she go, y'all.
Let me defend my hypocrisy. An example is when you tell a guy, we single, we dating other people, because we keep saying we single. If I met a great guy, I can give him my number. I'm not your woman. You're not my man. And then I'm upset when I know he's seeing and dating other people. That is hypocritical. It is also very normal that I would want to be able to date whoever and would not want you to. Is that strictly hypocritical?
That's strictly hypocritical.
So it's number 4. No, seriously, that's probably been the most glaring thing for me the last few weeks in dating, is that I might be quite hypocritical. And it's not even hypocritical, it really is the pot calling the kettle black. And so that's hypocritical is a way to say that.
Right.
But it's just really the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
It is. It don't make me feel any different about what I felt about them. And if they said something to me, they would be well within their right, but they don't feel that way. So I felt what I felt. Working on it.
Right. We on number 4.
Yeah, you're number 4.
Is it's borderline about you being hypocritical, but I would word it as like embracing someone else's flaws, not seeing every flaw as a red flag. You know what I mean? We're all growing individuals. We grow every day. We do things, you know, a lot of times I'll see one thing and be like, nope, that ain't gonna work. Yeah. You know? Whereas they can say the same thing about me. I have plenty of flaws. Right. So it is hypocritical to judge someone.
Because we hold them to a standard that we can't live up to.
Right. Or that no one can.
Right.
Because we have this idea. It goes back to us having this idea of what we think we want, or, you know, that we're control freaks. So we have an idea of how we think things are supposed to go. So when something pops up, and I'll just say flaws, because I know people, you know, I need to not be so hypocritical about judging people and their flaws, because I have plenty of them. As y'all know.
But I mean, Yeah, so I wasn't, so my hypocritical wasn't based on my flaws since I have none.
No, it wasn't.
But,
it wasn't. No, but I'm saying that's why I said I wouldn't call it hypocritical. I wouldn't.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying it's more of, oh, you can't be that way,
right?
But I can be that way. And I'm talking about flaws specifically. That's why I put that.
I would add that as a second one on my list about my actual flaws. Because we don't like when people don't like the stuff we like, or they like stuff that we don't like. That will turn us off from them.
Which we got family and friends that don't like the same things we like. So what?
But girl, he laughed at this movie. It is not gonna work.
I mean, these are real conversations, period.
We had it last Wednesday.
Yeah. So yeah. But that would fall under those flaws that we call, like that we don't mesh well. Well, I mean, nobody does for real. Yeah. Kind of, you grow in love. You don't fall in love. You grow in love.
So I saw this thing that said, let's say you really wanted a dog and you bought a dog bed and dog food and all the puppy toys, and you went to the pet store and they only had cats. So you've been preparing for a dog, but all they have is cats. Are you going to take home a cat and see, can this cat adapt to the stuff you prepared for? Or should you just leave that cat and leave empty-handed, because somebody's going to come in there looking for a cat. Somebody's ready for a cat. Or do you just take this cat home and say, this isn't what I was looking for, but this is what they had, and take it home?
I don't like this example.
Well, because I think that's what we do a lot of times in dating, is that we have this idea of a person and we don't meet them, but then we take the cat home. And then we like, well, this ain't what I wanted. But it's like,
I was about to say, I wouldn't take the cat home, no.
But I'm saying, when we have,
that's why I said,
let me use an example. Okay. I would say the last few people you have dated have been cats. Mm-hmm. Oh, because you didn't want them. You didn't want them.
Okay, you're talking about people that I didn't want. Yeah.
Right. They were cats. Mm-hmm. But in that part of dating is sometimes you take cats home when you wanted a dog to see if it can bark.
Yeah, I mean, you do give it a try.
But you say, well, my type is keeping me single, and I've always wanted a dog, but maybe I ain't supposed to have a dog. So then you take home this cat. But then when the cat ain't barking or eating the dog food or playing with the dog toys, you sitting there thinking, well, why ain't this working? It's like, because it ain't what you wanted. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to know how to do in dating. Sometimes you should take home a cat or not. Or maybe don't prepare for a dog or a cat. Just go to the pet store and whoever you love the most, that's who you take home. And then you get ready for them once they're at your house.
I was about to say, you might not need to be preparing your house.
Right.
Because then they're not going to fit. They're not going to fit.
Right. We might have an idea.
But that's what we're talking about now. We're decluttering our house of the expectations that we have, and, trying to rearrange our thoughts and our approach to dating in general with a clean slate.
Yes. All right. We're going to stop.
That's what we're doing right now.
Right. We're on number 5. We're going to stop at number 5 because we know we can do this all day. So my last thing that I really want to do differently as I move forward. So this is something that I consciously did differently a couple of years ago, and I don't think it served me well. And so I probably need to go back to what I used to do. So we talk about situationships and how we end up in situations, have ended up in situationships where you like having all the heartache and turmoil with no titles or no real, expectations set, but you're still breaking up, but we wasn't together and all that. And so I remember my last situationship a few years ago, I said, I will never be in another situationship. And the next person I dated, we dated for about a month. And after that month, I said to them, well, listen, we've been dating for a month. If you want to be in a relationship with me or not. So take some time to think about that. I'm not saying I'm not going to talk to you no more, but also I would like to be in a relationship. And if that's not something you want to do, my time and energy is not going to be as directed towards you as it has been, because I have to make myself available for a relationship. Well, the next week, that person asked me to be his girlfriend. And immediately I thought, well, no, I don't want you to ask me to be your girlfriend because I said that last week, but what did I want, right? Why did I say that? And 30 days later, he broke up with me. So I don't think I want to put so much of an attachment of what we call something as early on as I have thought in the last few years, only because I realized that if on Monday you say we're going to be together forever, that stresses the hell out of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. They like, yeah, dang. But if you just be together on Monday and then you want to be together again on Tuesday and you want to be together again on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, that could lead to a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes when you put that on Monday of what we gonna do the rest of the week, it's like, now I feel like I gotta do it, or how do I know I want to, and you feel so pulled because do I really want to do this now? Every job that you have not wanted to go to or quit, you applied for at some point. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like, I think you can have mutual respect and understanding and engage and interact with someone because you want to. And I think I don't want to be so attached to having a title or so-called commitment that's going to flame out fast because it was the burden of forever that day.
Okay.
That you have to live up to as you're getting to know a person. I think I would rather just spend time getting to know a person, enjoying spending time with the person, and then we realize this is something we actually want to just keep doing on purpose.
Right.
So okay. I'm going to release, what am I calling that? Releasing early labels. I'm going to want a label one day.
Yeah. But it's not
last time I did it for 30 days. Yeah. Releasing labeled timelines. That's what I call it. Labeled timelines. That's my number 5.
Okay.
And you know what? That's hard for a woman. We be wanting to say after a minute, like, what is this? What are we doing? What is this called? I don't want to do that. I just want us to enjoy it while we're doing it. And one day we'll have a conversation about doing it for real.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll see.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
My number 5 is gonna be improving my conflict resolution skills.
So what is your current method? What is your current method of conflict resolution, friend?
It's not helpful. Shut up. She is so weak, y'all. Y'all can't
What do you currently do that you want to change? You want to change it. So what are you currently doing?
Not taking a moment. I don't take a moment, I say whatever it is that I'm thinking in the moment immediately. I don't care how it sounds. And so once it comes out of my mouth, I hear myself, right? I'm like, girl, shut up. But I'm here now.
So I got to keep going.
So I commit.
Yep.
I commit to it. I see it through. I'm dedicated at that point once it comes out. So if I could control what comes out of my mouth first and how it comes out, then I can better manage the situation from that point. But instead of just taking a deep breath and, gathering my thoughts in an intelligent way, I will lash out first and then double down. So.
Yeah, that's good. But you know what? It's good to recognize that, because one of the things that I realized recently with one of my dating situations, the more I told the story, the crazier I sounded in the story every time I told it. And generally, when I tell stories of dating, everybody's like, no, he didn't, girl. He is wrong. He is crazy. I can't believe he did that. And recently I've been telling stories and I'm the crazy one in them. And so it's a power in saying, I might not have been the right one in that one. Okay. Mm-hmm. So to be able to realize that you need to give yourself a breather before you respond.
Yeah, it just takes a breather, you know. Like I said, how it starts is how it's going to finish. So if I can start off in a more, like I said, intelligence, it's not all about, cursing
going
somebody
off,
out.
Popping off.
And then people don't like to be talked to like that.
Yeah.
In general. Especially if they not talking now. He coming at me like that. That's one thing. But I don't have to initially start that type of,
Yeah. And that goes back to, we were talking about divine feminine energy and healing our power, that a lot of times we don't realize how much power we have in silence, how much power we have in absence. It's not that I need to be in your face and telling you everything I think. I think that's something that as women, we are better communicators than men, but we also need to learn that everything don't need to be said.
Right.
Everything don't need to be expressed.
Right.
Everything don't need to be a comment. And that's really something I'm working on and realizing, because I've always been of the mindset, well, if it's on my mind, I need to say it. If I don't say it, it's gonna bother me, whatever. And I realize that everything ain't for everything, and everything ain't for every moment, and all
everything ain't a thing.
Right, everything ain't a thing.
So yeah, so that would be my number 6. 5.
Everything ain't a thing. But yeah, sometimes just take a breather, and the whole point of wanting to be with someone is to be an asset to their life, and that they're an asset to your life, and that you guys can see how to have even greater life than you've had individually. Now, if you don't have a great life by yourself, you're not going to have a great life with nobody else. So we have established we have a great life by ourselves. So I don't think we need to be overly attached to proving how happy we can be single.
Right.
I think we still have an attachment to our street credibility of single women saying, well, we single and we happy, and we are. But also, I don't know for you, but for me, I really do feel like I want a partner. I feel this longing for a partner more than I ever have in my life. And it's not just that I'm going to just try to partner with anybody, but I do want to honor and respect it in a way that I have never necessarily had to rise to the challenge of doing before. And I want to be able to show up and be a good partner for somebody. And I want to draw a great partner to me. So that is causing us to have to do a lot more self-reflection. And again, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We don't want to have to mess up with the one that could get away. And also, I believe now in our spaces of dating that we are in a space where we're dating better and higher quality people that might be options. Just as you get older, you don't waste as much time with cats and a dog. And I think now this would be the time for us to really challenge ourselves. It's not practice anymore. It's like now we're kind of getting to the point of, I really want to show up as the best version of myself. And again, for him to pick me. And be okay with getting picked and not saying, don't pick me. Don't worry about that. You know what? It is what it is. And hopefully the one you want picks you, because we also know with men it's about timing. And so for women, it's about a person. For man, it's about a time. And hopefully it works out for you where the one you picked, it was the time for him to do it. Because if not, you're going to be with the one you want to be with, and you can be with him for 10 years. If it ain't time, it ain't time. And he going to be with the next one 3 months later because then he felt like it was time. So I think that's what makes the perfect scenario, is you finding the one and it being his time.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. All right, folks, we hope y'all have learned something, or maybe you made your own list, or make sure you send us comments about your list or things you've added or taken off of your list for you. Because again, we've always made lists about the kind of man we want and the kind of partner we want, but let's talk about the kind of partner we want to be. And this is the list we were working on today of how we can be a better partner for the partner we are trying to draw to us. Amen. Please comment, please like, please share. And thank you so much for listening to another episode of Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.